Today, I'm pleased to make a truly historic announcement in our battle against the China virus that will save countless lives. Convalescent, strong antibodies from the blood of recovered patients to help treat patients battling a current infection. Convalescent is the only possible, and it's only made possible because of Operation Convalescent. Today, I'm pleased to make a truly historic announcement in our battle against the China virus that will save countless lives. We provided $48 million to fund the Mayo Clinic study that tested the efficacy of convalescent the virus.
I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Pakman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male.
Can you remind the audience, when you talk about being a beta male and being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
There are males, most men today, male, they think and act like a woman. They're emotional, they are mentally off, they have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Hold on, whoa, Jesse, we got it. That's a lot.
LGBTQ.
That's a lot.
They agree with everything that's raw. Abortion, they think like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male doesn't, because he's a logical thinking. And they're controlled by the darkness of David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman.
All right, welcome everybody. We have a really exciting stream today for a few different reasons. Number one, we are already having to ban so many people. Merely the fact that Joe Biden is going to be signing into law Juneteenth as a federal holiday, it's already triggering people, and we're getting massive dumps of conservatives in the chat, and we're banning them all when they do crazy stuff. But if you just have a respectful disagreement, that's no big deal. Number two, I have today for the first time, I have my Elgato Stream Deck. This is a new technical element that we're introducing into the streams because the streams are getting so complicated. We actually had a computer science, a group of computer science PhDs come in and look at everything, and they said, this is way too complicated. You need a Stream Deck. And because what's happening sometimes is when I use numbers on the keyboard to change between scenes, like for example, you know, from this scene to this scene, maybe to this scene, back 1, 2. Sometimes if I have a YouTube video up, if you press like 6 goes to the 50% mark of the video, and it's not good. It's not good. So the Elgato Stream Deck allows me, like as you can see here, I can go to me full, or the one that works for the YouTube shot, or if I'm looking at a full page, or all of this stuff. So we already are having technical issues with it. For example, one of the things I did was set up when the second YouTube channel comes up. People may be aware of the second YouTube channel, which I want to get to 5,000 subscribers on it today. And when the channel comes up, people say, what is the link? I set up a button to just put the link in the YouTube and Twitch chat. Boom. I just pressed it. Now it's working in Twitch. I don't know why it's not working in YouTube. For whatever reason, when I try to sync my Stream Deck with YouTube, it syncs it with my YouTube. Oh, wait, there it is. Oh, it worked. Okay, forget about it. It's fixed. It's fixed. Okay, great. So that's something. So anyway, if people are familiar with the Stream Deck and you guys want to give me, some ideas as to what other things I want to program in, I would love that. I have now, if we need to dump, literally I have a dumps button, and this is what happens when I hit the dumps button.
If there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way...
Okay, so like if we had an emergency dump moment, I would be able to dump to that. I have programmed in the Trump 100.
I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
If you go out
I like that idea. I should have a button that would play YMCA. That's actually a really good idea. Let me think how I would do that. I guess what I would do is I would download the track. Let's just see if we can do it. If I go to YouTube and I just go to YMCA, okay, I've got a link, copy link. So then I can do YouTube downloader. Let's just test. We're kind of testing it all out. A lot of these downloaders let you download just as an MP3. Let's see if I can do that. MP3, perfect. Get link, download. So now I'm saving Village People YMCA.mp3. We're learning about the guys. Stop with the DMCA stuff, please, please. That's the most annoying meta trend on Twitch, which is anytime anybody talks about a song, people go completely crazy. DMCA. Okay, so I guess this would be a system command, multimedia, and we'll drop that in. The title will be YMCA. The action will be, play, pause. No, I need to set up a specific track. This isn't it. Let's see. Oh, soundboard. Hold on. Here it is. Play audio. And we will call it YMCA. We will select our YMCA file. This is just, we're testing things, guys. This is how we iterate. Play stop with no fade. Okay, good. So I've programmed in a YMCA. Let's just see what happens. Right. And if I press it again, it stops. Beautiful. So we're developing content here, guys. I appreciate that. I appreciate the donation from Stephen Robbins towards the Stream Deck. Very, very powerful. No, but in all seriousness, if people who are more experienced with Stream Deck want to send me info@davidpakman.com, let me know. Okay. So we've got that. It does start over. Yeah, that's true. It looks like if I pause it, then it starts over. That's okay. That's okay. I can set up another button that would just be a play pause button, but it's like, how many buttons do we really need here? Okay, very good. So we're standing by for that and all other things. Let me look at a few super chats. Peppy says, why did you stop shopping at Walmart? I haven't been to a Walmart in 15 years. At the time, I didn't like what Walmart was doing politically and from the standpoint of the minimum wage and benefits. I found Walmart to be the corporate equivalent of grifters, and so I haven't been there since. Jacob likes the hat. Tristan asks if I'm golfing. Peppy asks if I've been mistaken for Caucasian growing up. Yes, I have been. The right loves to remind me I'm not a white guy, whereas the left loves to remind me I'm a privileged white guy. Aaron says, I'm happy the South lost the Civil War. Never thought that would be controversial. Jesus or Jesus says that the hat makes me look alpha. Beautiful. That's the goal. Scott says, my U.S. Embassy emergency appointment for tomorrow got canceled at 7. Could the government have done this with more than 5 minutes notice? I don't know anything about that. Joseph says, what do you think of Manchin's list of voting rights issues he would support? There's been reporting from New York Times he might be coming around on the filibuster. Too good to be true? No, I think it's quite possible. Today, in fact, I interviewed Ro Khanna, or as some say, Ro Khanna, and we actually talked about Manchin. I think people will like that. Jay says, sir, where did you get the very powerful hat from? Should I say? Because they're not a sponsor. I just wanted a white hat, so I bought it. I'm not going to say. I don't want to say. Jeffrey says, great stream, David. Thank you. We're only just getting started. And Peppy says, this was Tech Talk with David Pakman. Marjorie Taylor Packman says, imagine in 2014, someone said Trump will become president, be impeached twice, incite an insurrection and a global pandemic. We'll kill 600,000 Americans. We wouldn't have believed it. We wouldn't have believed it. Tino says, this is my request for a fraud sound button. If someone can get me a clean audio of Trump saying fraud, I will add it to my soundboard. I would be glad to do that. David Hatman. Yes, very obvious. Very obvious. Okay, let's just get into stuff because we don't have unlimited time. Let's jump right in here. Browser, here we go. Here is, I've got a few things to run through. Here is Mike Pillow. Oh, sorry. I'm missing some thank yous. Hold on. Kathleen Rodriguez just signed up at joinpacman.com. And John Wood just signed up at joinpacman.com. That's new members 1 and 2. Also over on Twitch, I want to say thank you to Altia's Rich, Nathan's, Blaze King, Crazy Hawaiian in PA, Crazy Hawaiian in PA also for the upgrade, Master McLeavy, Confirm or Disconfirm for the Twitch subs, putting us at 8. We do have a special coupon code today in honor of Juneteenth. The code is Juneteenth. It gives you a membership for just $19 or $1.90 a month. The trick, though, is you have to know how to spell Juneteenth, and I'm not going to tell you. So if you don't know how to spell Juneteenth, you can't take advantage of that code. All right, here's Mike Pillow. Now he says Trump really won Cali.
In California, there was so much organic cheating that actually Donald Trump did.
Organic cheating, not inorganic cheating. You really need to understand chemistry, actually, to know what it is that went on there.
In California. And that, but that's a subjective number, but there was so much done, kind of like Nevada. There was so much organic cheating in Nevada.
Is this Glenn Beck? Who is this guy?
There was 7 different ways of cheating went on in Nevada.
7 ways to Sunday things were cheated. So there's Mike Pillow. So there's that. Here's adults, full-grown men and women, harassing children about the fact that they're wearing a mask.
What are you doing out here?
Look at these idiots face masks.
Out here. Why are you wearing a mask?
Where's your parents at? They have you out here masked?
You don't need to wear them, you know that. Why are you wearing it?
Why the hell are you wearing a mask at? Where's your mom and dad?
CDC said we stupid.
What?
CDC said we'd die if we didn't.
CDC says you're gonna die?
Yeah. How come you ain't dead yet, then?
Yeah.
How come you're not dead? Take it off.
What are you doing?
Defiant and principled questioning as to why these kids are alive. How did you survive, children? So that's adults. That's adults. Now I want to go over the genesis of disinformation propaganda. Okay? I'm going to walk you guys through. And hold on, I do want to make sure we don't miss the Biden event. Okay, we've got audio turned up here. And multiple streams in case only one goes live. Here is how complete nonsense generates, and then it starts to become used almost as evidence. Nonsense becomes used as evidence for more nonsense, okay? So we looked at this yesterday. Here's Tucker Carlson's new idea that the FBI did the Trump riots. Now, I don't actually think Tucker believes this. I think Tucker knows his audience will believe it, and it'll get him ratings. I don't think Tucker is this stupid, but here's Tucker's new idea.
But strangely, some of the key people who participated on January 6th have not been charged.
Ooh.
Look at the document. The government calls those people unindicted co-conspirators. What does that mean? Well, it means that in potentially every single case, they were FBI operatives.
Okay,
Really?
so look at the language. The fact that there are unnamed, as yet unindicted co-conspirators involved in some of these 400 cases might mean that they're all FBI agents. Now, it might mean nothing. It might mean that they are cases that are still pending. It might mean that there are a whole bunch of other reasons why there are unindicted co-conspirators not named, right? So far. But it could be that the FBI ran the entire riots. Tucker's just asking questions.
In the Capitol on January 6th.
Right.
For example, one of those unindicted co-conspirators is someone government documents identify only as person 2.
Whoa.
According to those documents, person 2 stayed in the same hotel room as a man called Thomas Caldwell. And
Reportedly, they even did head to toe. They shared a bed and did head to toe, and that they were going to do back to back, and they did head to toe, and that's a real signal that these guys could be bad people.
Insurrectionist, a man alleged to be a member of the group the Oath Keepers. Person 2 also, quote, stormed the barricades at the Capitol on January 6th alongside Thomas Caldwell. The government's indictments further indicate that Caldwell, who, by the way, is a 65-year-old man, yes, dangerous insurrectionist, was led to believe there would be a, quote, quick reaction force also participating on January 6th. That quick reaction force, Caldwell was told, would be led by someone called Person 3, who had a hotel room and an accomplice with him.
Whoa.
But wait, here's the interesting thing. Person 2 and Person 3 were organizers of the riot.
Remember, he still put forward no evidence that these are FBI agents, right? He's telling us a lot of things about what we don't know, and then he goes, these might all just be FBI agents.
The government knows who they are, but the government has not charged them. Why is that? You know why. They were almost certainly working for the FBI.
Almost certainly. So you really need to do a linguistic analysis. You need a transcript. Almost certainly. But I have no evidence whatsoever for that claim.
So FBI operatives were organizing the attack on the Capitol.
Did you see what he did there? Twice he says they quite possibly might be FBI agents. It's conceivable that they're all FBI agents. And then he uses that to say FBI agents organized the riots.
On January 6th, according to government documents.
The government documents don't say that. The government documents simply say these people have not yet been indicted, and we're not referring to them by name yet.
And those two are not alone. In all, Revolver News reported that there are, quote, upwards of 20 unindicted co-conspirators.
Okay, so this was the start 2 days ago. Now, there's no evidence presented here other than Revolver, which is just a right-wing bomb-throwing website. Revolver wrote an article. So now we get to last night, okay? Here, and I'm going to cue this up exactly where we want it. Here, Tucker brings on the guy from Revolver. And now look at what happens, okay? Now pay attention. Remember, Tucker Tuesday night was based on this guy's report. Now we've got the guy. Let's listen to what the guy says.
Revolver News. We're glad to see him tonight. Darren, thanks so much for coming on. It sounds like, according to this, I have to say, remarkable piece that you've just put up late last night, read it in bed at midnight, that the FBI was organizing the riots.
So Tucker says it sounds like it. Now let's see. What evidence does this guy have to put forward?
Of January 6th.
Well, yes, it certainly suggests that possibility. And
Did you guys hear that? It certainly suggests that, what was the word? Possibility. So Tucker's entire rant from Tuesday is based off of this report. And all this guy can say is that there is a suggestion of a possibility. A suggestion of a possibility.
I'm hearing from people that this is the most important and the darkest investigative piece they've seen in years.
He's hearing from people who, again, have read his assertions, which have no evidence, and they're reacting by saying, you know, Darren, this is the darkest investigation we've ever heard of. There have been no facts presented whatsoever. So that's Wednesday. Now we get to Thursday. This was earlier today. Louis Gohmert now says, if there were federal agents involved, we really need to know all about what the FBI was doing. Again, nobody's presented evidence. Tucker mentions it based on what Darren Beattie said is possible without evidence. Now Louis Gohmert on the floor of the House. We're tracking the disinformation, right?
You know, so if there were federal agents that were involved on January 6th, we really need to know.
This is not slowed down, by the way. This is normal speed. Normal. I mean, it's 1x. It's not normal, but
what the FBI knew and when they knew it. And not only that, we need to know how much participation did any of our federal friends, either at DOJ, FBI.
Sure. We need to know that, but nobody has actually presented any evidence yet that we should believe that that happened. We've got Tucker based on Darren, who has no evidence. Now Louis wants an investigation. It's a runaway freight train. Okay. And then here is Sheriff David Clark now demanding that Congress establish an independent commission to investigate the FBI. It all goes back to nothing. There's nothing there. But here's Sheriff Clark saying anything short of an investigation, by the way, led by Alan Dershowitz, indistinguishable from parody, is not okay.
They need an outside commission. You cannot have the Senate Judiciary do this. They don't know how, and they're afraid of what the FBI might have on them that they might leak. So you need an outside commission, a panel. My suggestion, for example, would be that this should be headed by Alan Dershowitz.
Yeah. So so now we're on day 3. Where did this come from? It came from Tucker reading an article in bed at midnight. Might have been on Ambien for all we know. And then doing a story about it, getting pushback. So he brings on the guy who wrote the story, and that guy says, well, there's definitely a suggestion of a possibility. Next thing you know, it's on the House floor. And then this guy is saying Alan Dershowitz needs to run an investigation. That is the genesis and the path of this disinformation propaganda. And there's still nothing there. Now, if I'm not, there's some on the revolutionary left who love to say, as soon as Trump became president, so-called liberals were falling all over themselves to say the FBI is great and the CIA is great. That's not what this is about. If the FBI organized the Trump riots, I want to know it. If the Trump White House organized the Trump riots, as Alex Jones claims, I want to know it. I don't care. I'm not looking to protect anybody or anything of the sort. But no evidence has been put forward at this point in time. It's Tucker based on Darren, signal boosted by Louis, and then now Dershowitz, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the genesis of it. I think you guys get it, and we can move on. And by the way, Republicans had the opportunity to support a commission, and they all are against it. So I'm glad that that's being pointed out as well. I want to say thank you to Jonathan Smith, who just signed up with the coupon code Juneteenth at joinpacman.com. We have a special coupon code today through Juneteenth to celebrate Juneteenth. You can use it at joinpacman.com. The discount is ungodly, but you do need to know how to spell Juneteenth. So far, only one person has figured it out. Jonathan Smith, thank you so much for signing up on my website. You're new member number 9. Also want to say thank you to Liquid Ice, Sumi Long, Astro Lycos, and Paranoid for signing up via Twitch. New members 10, 11, 12, and 13 today. There are constitutional questions about the legality of this coupon code. It's more of a, it's not clear who has standing to bring it forward, but there are definitely some constitutional issues. Okay, let me do a few other super chats. I see I'm falling behind here. Trans rights are human rights, says Cobalt. Happy Pride Month, yes. Justin says, sir, I believe a Juneteenth holiday is an upgrade from when Trump did a rally in Oklahoma on Juneteenth. Yeah, that was a mess. I'm not even going to read this from James Freeland. It's just a little too edgy for me. Bay Photo says, how does Tucker's show not come with a legal disclaimer? We know his employer confirmed he's full of BS in court. Absolutely. Many QAnon people are running for seats in 22. How do you think this will affect misinformation in 24? Will it help or hurt Republicans? We won't know until we see how well the Q people do in 2022. It's our job to make sure they don't do well, but can't answer about 24 until we see what happens in 22. Marjorie Taylor Packman says Lorazepam Louis has to slow down a bit, too strong. Yeah, he was really shot out of a cannon. And Avi says, a tan hat, really, Pac-Man? What's next, a tan suit? This is off-white. I think it's called cream, actually. It's not. I know that that's not necessarily the most alpha color, but that's what it is. Unban requests, I have none. I have no unban requests for you guys today. I do have some voicemails, and I'm glad to look at those. This is all new stuff. Let's see what we've got here. A lot of these I'm skipping because they're not so good. Let's take a listen. Here we go.
Hello, David. Hey, I'm not an economist, but it's come to my attention that China does not own most of our debt. They only own a very small percentage of it. It's mostly owned by Americans with bonds. So I was wondering, is this true as far as you know?
Yeah, and it's actually, I don't even think China owns the majority of our foreign debt. U.S. foreign debt by country. I believe it's Japan. Let's take a look here. So in 2019, it was just barely China over Japan. Yeah, no, but it's a very good point, and nobody talks about Japan. It's very close between Japan and China. It may be Japan who holds more of our debt now. Obviously, there are political reasons why people focus more on China than Japan. China is seen more of an adversary and a challenger as along with Russia as a superpower, and there's foreign policy reasons. But the caller is absolutely right. Nice voicemail. Let's listen to one more.
Hi, David. I want to thank you for all your insightful math-oriented graphics, and you're educating the public on looking up stuff. So what was that thing you showed? I guess it's called a scattergram. And it had 3 boxes, an x-axis, a y-axis, and one box only had 4 states in it. And you said you didn't know why Oregon, Washington, Maine, and I think you said Colorado have high vaccine rates, but also surprisingly high new COVID cases per 100,000 population. So, when you put those graphics up, and then I couldn't find it. So could you please let us know where you found it?
Man, okay, so people asking for specific graphics. You'll have to watch the clip, I think. Let's see another voicemail.
Hello, David. I have a question for you today. So why don't you and other progressive host shows start like a joint show, like a network such as like CNN or Fox News and such, except obviously a lot more left-leaning?
Yeah, I've been asked this a bunch of different times. It's just not that's a lot of work building infrastructure that I don't know how much we really benefit from. Like, I get the idea of working together. It can be more than the sum of the parts. I get that, but I'm just not. I just want to keep growing my show for the time being. Let's listen to another one.
So I wanted to apologize for talking so much on your line. I actually had a Jewish boyfriend in middle school who shut down this place. It was like a place for troubled teens or something like that. But he ended up working there because I was sent there when I was younger.
All right, another voicemail.
But I've been socializing a lot with Spanish people as well down here, and they're like super pushy. And
Spanish people are pushy. Wow. Okay. Here's another one.
Okay, I'm wondering if the 535 of them in the Capitol building in their subgroups have more wealth the day Trump leaves office. We're in a little different place. They're going to govern during the Trump years $15 trillion away from us. So the cupboards are bare, we're poor, and they got more. But also, this time, the well is dry.
Yes, exactly. I think this might be is this the Eggman, or is it the same area code?
Hey, Dave and Pat.
Yeah.
You guys know what a corkage fee is?
Yeah, corkage is some restaurants let you bring your own wine, and the restaurant charges you to open the bottle. I mean, I get it, right? Like, they'd rather sell you the wine, obviously, but corkage, the word bothers me, and the concept maybe bothers me even more.
You bring your own wine into a restaurant, they charge you money, but they serve it to you. You have to pay they open it for you.
I charge corkage when people come to my house for dinner, actually.
I would find out what the corkage fee for all your shit that you drink, Pat. Oh my God, Soylent. You got to find out the Soylent corkage fee before you get on a cruise ship.
We were joking today on, wow, Eggman is really responding almost in real time. We had a perfect bonus show today, and we talked about the cruise industry, and just I have no interest. I've never been on a big cruise, and I get sort of seasick anyway. And also, it's like a stomach bug petri dish. I just have no interest in cruising anyway, and especially now that with the virus, the last thing I want to do is go on a cruise. But we were talking about if Pat went on a cruise, would there be sufficient vegan food available on the cruise, or would he bring Soylent? And I had the idea you should bring a pallet of Soylent, which Pat sometimes takes with him on trips, but ask the restaurants on the boat to serve it to you in a fancy way, like order a Soylent, and it's really your Soylent you brought, and they bring it out on, in like a martini glass or whatever. And the Eggman is saying there might be a corkage fee for Soylent. Yeah, so that's good.
So I'm having a hard time like socializing with people because I have to, I guess, like lie a lot. It seems like
that sounds tough.
And everyone here seems to have like a really strong stomach. I have like a really weak stomach, so it's like if I have to like, say stuff that's not true, I start to kind of like feel like there's vomit like rising in my stomach.
Jeez. Okay, and then here's one last one on lab leak, I guess.
I just saw your clip regarding Trump's lab leak theory. And
Trump's theory, yeah.
You may not know this, but the genetic sequence of the SARS-CoV-2 virus.
The idea of Trump having a theory is a bit of an overstatement.
Hence the term C, G, G, Z, G, G. This sequence doesn't appear in nature. It's a marker that's used by virologists to denote where they've made a splice in the genetic code. It pretty much rules out anything but a laboratory creation of this virus. Have a good day.
All right. No, okay, yeah, I talked about lab leak yesterday with Dr. Ashish. I don't know. I spoke about it with Dr. Ashish. I'm not going to now have a whole thing with this guy about CDG, GBD, this type of stuff. I want to say thank you to Matt Jenkins, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code Juneteenth, good only until Juneteenth. Also, thank you to Chris Duncan, who just also signed up on my website with the coupon code Juneteenth. We are here for Joe Biden signing into law the federal holiday of Juneteenth. The right is triggered, and we are partially celebrating it with a secret unpublished coupon code, Juneteenth. You've got to know how to spell it to take advantage of it. I also want to say thank you over on Twitch to Alora Likes Noodles for the Twitch sub. Goulash Joshua has also signed up via Twitch Prime. Remember, if you have Amazon Prime, do not leave your $5 a month in the pocket of Jeff Bezos. Do not do it. Throw it to someone, even if it's not our Twitch channel, but many, many options. Other super chats coming in. Marjorie Taylor Packman says, flight of ideas in real time. Seek help, please. Jeffrey says, hey, David, Stephen Colbert has a Facebook hashtag called He Who Shall Be Named. Here's my name for Trump, the Hippopotamus. Serge says your hat's missing riding with Biden. Have you heard the leaked conversation between Manchin and No Labels? I have. David, did we get an explanation for the hat yet in the stream? No, I don't owe you an explanation, Dean, quite frankly. I'm just wearing a hat. It's a bad hair day. That's all. No big deal. I want to say thanks to Trey Williams, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code Juneteenth. Okay, let me get on to a few other things. Things are going wild on our TikToks. The managers of TikToks have been seeing what we've been doing, and they called and said, sir, what on earth is happening? 36K on TikToks, 51K on TikToks, 25K, 36K, 15K. Okay, this one's not so good, but 80,000 on TikToks. And this is our new producer, John. He's been killing it on TikToks. We've got a lot of exciting things hopefully coming up. Teen acting star Casey Simpson is a follower of the show and big on TikToks, and we may soon be doing a live with him about getting young people involved in politics, and that's going to be a big thing. So a lot is happening. Here's a scheduled piece of content. This is, hold on, is this muted? Yeah. This is me talking to Dr. Ashish about the lab leak. Let's take a quick listen.
We want to know where this virus came from. We want to understand it, not just because it helps us manage this one, but prevent future ones. But the other part is we have got to stop politicizing this. Like, my God, at this point, we have managed to take this thing that's a very complicated and important scientific question, and people are talking about it as though, like, if you're a Democrat, you believe one thing, and a Republican, you believe another. I just don't know the right answer. We need to investigate it. We need to push China to give us more cooperation. We need to have the U.S. intelligence and other intelligence agencies investigate it. We really do need to get to the bottom of this. Again, if I were a betting person, I'd say it probably came from an animal, but we're not making bets here. We should actually sort it out. We want to know where.
There it is. So that is Dr. Ashish Jha. That's a clip we're going to be posting on the TikToks pretty soon, I would say, actually. Here is the event getting ready for the signature of Juneteenth as an official federal holiday. We are celebrating this today with a coupon code on our website, Juneteenth. You've got to figure out how to spell it. That's the prerequisite. But a lot of people taking advantage of that. Update on the, let's see if we can do this now. Update on the new YouTube channel. I am going to use my new, if you're just joining us, I now have a Stream Deck. I have a single button. What on earth is that? Oh my God. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I have a single button now that should post the link into Twitch and YouTube. Yes, it did. We are trying to get our first 5,000 subscribers on the Pac-Man Live channel. Very exciting. We have our first video with the new thumbnail format. As you can see here, it is the Diamond and Silk Mango video. I love looking at this and just seeing funny things that have been picked from the live streams. You could appear on this channel because it is Pac-Man Live content. Viewer outraged over David's garden. Let's see what that is. That sounds interesting. What's going on here? I have an ad blocker, but the ad is trying to play, but it's not even playing. Ah, here we go.
Now, do people want me to preview what the garden looks like today? I've not shown you my garden for weeks. Everything is most things are robust. My chard isn't looking good. We're going to be publishing that to the new YouTube channel soon. But do people want to see what is going on? Last time I showed my garden, I got an angry email from someone saying, "Don't you dare show us your stinkweeds." People want to see it? All right.
Okay, anyway. So it's all happening, and right now, listen, if you want to hold for the long term, this is the time to get in. We're down to our last. We have 50 memberships left. Now only 40 memberships left before the first 5,000 on the new channel are spoken for. So really strong opportunity for people to get in on that as we stand by here for, wow. So this feed we just completely lost. The White House feed has not gone live yet, but it should be starting pretty soon. What a mess. Who's Brian Hafali? That's weird. It's like, what are we even looking at here? Some people were in the first 500. Yeah. No, that's exciting. It's all very, very exciting. There are also some really interesting things planned for the channel. Yeah, it's just, we're just trying it. People get mad at everything, you know. We're just trying a new channel. That's all. All right. So I don't know what's happening with these feeds, but we're going to keep an eye on for them. Enrique says, "Cool hat. I love it." Bettina says, "One of your caps is on the way to Denmark today." Nice. Jacob says, "Sir, why does the right complain about being silenced when YouTube spams ads for Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, etc.? Not only that, the top performing posts basically every day on Facebook are Ben Shapiro and Dan Bongino. They're like the top two people every single day. Every single day. I think that's it. That's it as far as that goes. Nathaniel Hine has just signed up on my website with the coupon code Juneteenth and his new member number 19. Also want to say thank you to Adenansu, Dad Who Games, Bike Shop Guru, David crap and shits. I get it, guys. I get it. 4 new members via Twitch. That's numbers 20, 21, 22, and 23. Who am I watching lately for cooking content? Oh, I have been, Jacques Pepin is the guy to watch. It's just the best. There was recently a great piece on him on, I think CBS This Morning or something like that. He's just the best. Let's see what new Jacques Pepin videos we have. It's total zen. Pork roast with ratatouille, beef with root vegetable. Pork roast. I don't want to do a pork video. It's a little bit crass if I don't eat pork. Let's see Jacques' new mac and cheese video. Jacques is the best. 85 years old, really a national treasure. For which country, I don't know, since he's French and American.
I'm Jacques Pepin, and I'm cooking at home.
He's just the best.
Old American classic, mac and cheese. Everyone loves mac and cheese. And I'm going to do a little bit of a white sauce here. I have a tablespoon and a half of butter, and I'm going to put a tablespoon and a half of flour in there.
Right, making a roux.
A cup and a half of milk. So it's all 1.5 cup of milk, and I have 1.5 cup of dry macaroni here.
Love it.
Which when I cook them, as you see, it's 3 cup, basically double. 1.5 cup of macaroni raw, it's about 5 ounces. 5 ounces of macaroni. Of course, you can do that with penne or with any type of pasta, which is the same thing,
Beautiful.
So here we go. The white sauce, 1.5. Okay. Mix your roux there.
If you want to know why I'm not aware of the last thing that Jimmy Dore said or the latest conflict, it's because I'm watching this stuff instead of other stuff like what I do.
This is very simple to do. As soon as it's mixed like this, it's fine. Cup and a half of milk.
Beautiful.
It'll come to a boil. Salt, pepper. I put about half a teaspoon of paprika in there. What I'm going
Love
to
the
do
paprika.
Here, 3/4 of a cup of panko. I'm going to put about a tablespoon at the most of olive oil in there. Otherwise, it tends to burn. And I'm going to put that in the oven. This is the crust to go on top. See.
Okay. Anyway, so that's who I recommend for cooking videos right now, as well as, of course, the Toon channel, which is a really, really strong cooking channel. Do I have a catchphrase? Can you imagine me having a catchphrase? No way. Did I see Ruben's public meltdown on masks? No. Can anybody tell me where to find that? That sounds hilarious. Let me say thank you to Malik Lendell Taylor Allen for signing up with the coupon code Juneteenth. As we see Biden Lori Starr signing up with code Juneteenth and Alexis Magana signing up with coupon code Juneteenth. Let's listen. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Also, thanks to Kimberly Thomas Tague for the Juneteenth subscription.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. So, throughout history, Juneteenth has been known by many names. Jubilee Day, Freedom Day, Liberation Day.
Let's mute that one. Here we go.
Emancipation Day. And today, a national holiday. And looking out across this room, I see the advocates, the activists, the leaders who have been calling for this day for so long, including the one and only Miss Opal Lee. who just received a very special recognition
There's that
from
Markey.
the President of the United States. And I see members of Congress, members of the Congressional Black Caucus, members of the United States Senate who passed this bill unanimously. And all of whom collectively were responsible for delivering this bill to the president's desk. And I thank you all. We thank you all. Your nation thanks you all. And you know, when we establish a national holiday, it makes an important statement. National holidays are something important. These are days when we as a nation have decided to stop and take stock, and often to acknowledge our history. And so as we establish Juneteenth as our newest national holiday, let us be clear about what happened on June 19th, 1865.
Right.
The day we call Juneteenth. Because you see, that day was not the end of slavery in America. Yes, on that day, the enslaved people of Galveston, Texas learned that they were free.
Right.
But in fact, 2.5 years earlier, the Emancipation Proclamation ended slavery in the Confederacy.
We talked about this on the bonus show today.
For more than 2 years, the enslaved people of Texas were kept in servitude. For more than 2 years, they were intentionally kept from their freedom. For more than 2 years. And then on that summer day, 156 years ago, the enslaved people of Texas learned the news. They learned that they were free, and they claimed their freedom. It was indeed an important day. And still, let us also remember, that day was not the end of slavery in America. The truth is, it would be 6 more months before the 13th Amendment was ratified, before enslaved people in the South and the North were free. So as we commemorate the history of Juneteenth, as we did just weeks ago with the history of the Tulsa Race Massacre, we must learn from our history, and we must teach our children our history, because it is part of our history as a nation. It is part of American history. So let me end by saying this. We are gathered here in a house built by enslaved people. We are footsteps away from where President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. And we are here to witness President Joe Biden establish Juneteenth as a national holiday. We have come far, and we have far to go, but today is a day of celebration. It is not only a day of pride, it is also a day for us to reaffirm and rededicate ourselves to action. And with that, I say, happy Juneteenth, everybody. And with that, I introduce the President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Wow, what a day. Thanks to Chris Coyne for the Juneteenth membership. I appreciate that, Chris.
Well, thank you, Madam Vice President. 156 years ago, 156 years, June 19th, 1865. John, thanks for being here. Major General of the Union Army arrived in Galveston, Texas to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation.
Sorry, for people asking, it is a federal holiday. I don't believe it will be a bank-type holiday where everybody would be off.
The day, as you all know, and we repeat some of what was said.
I think it's like Flag Day.
You all know that. A day that reflects what the Psalm tells us. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Juneteenth marks both the long, hard night of slavery and subjugation and a promise of a brighter morning to come. This is a day of profound, in my view, profound weight and profound power. A day in which we remember the moral stain, the terrible toll that slavery took on the country and continues to take. What I've long called America's original sin. At the same time, I also remember the extraordinary capacity to heal and to hope and to emerge from the most painful moments in a bitter, bitter version of ourselves, but to make a better version of ourselves. And today we consecrate Juneteenth for what it ought to be, what it must be, a national holiday. As the Vice President noted, a holiday that will join the others of our national celebrations, our independence, our laborers who built this nation, our servicemen and women who served and died in its defense. And the first new national holiday since the creation of Martin Luther King holiday nearly 4 decades ago.
83.
I'm grateful to the members of Congress here today, in particular the Congressional Black Caucus, who did so much to make this day possible. I'm especially pleased that we showed the nation that we can come together as Democrats and Republicans to commemorate this day with an overwhelming bipartisan support of the Congress. I hope this is the beginning of a change in the way we deal with one another. And we're blessed to mark the day in the presence of Miss Opal Lee. As my mother said, God love her.
Biden, a bit of a cold on the return from Europe.
Meeting her in Nevada more than a year ago, she told me she loved me, and I believed it. I wanted to believe it. Because, Opal, you're incredible. A daughter of Texas, grandmother of the movement to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. Ms. Opal is, you won't believe it, she's 49 years old. Or 94 years old, but you are an incredible woman, Ms. Opal. You really are. As a child growing up in Texas, she and her family
it's cringy but funny.
Would celebrate Juneteenth.
I don't know.
On Juneteenth, 1939, when she was 12 years old, a white mob torched her family home. But such hate never stopped her, any more than it stopped the vast majority of you I'm looking at from this podium. Over the course of decades, she's made it her mission to see that this day came. It was almost a singular mission. She's walked for miles and miles, literally and figuratively, to bring attention to Juneteenth, to make this day possible. I ask once again, we all stand and give her a warm welcome to the White House. As they still say in the Senate, and I said for 36 years, if you excuse me for a point of personal privilege, as I was walking down, I regret that my grandchildren aren't here, because this is a really, really, really important moment in our history. By making Juneteenth a federal holiday, all Americans can feel the power of this day and learn from our history and celebrate progress and grapple with the distance we've come, but the distance we have to travel, Jim. You know, I said a few weeks ago, marking the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre, great nations don't ignore their most painful moments. Great nations don't ignore their most painful moments. They don't ignore those moments in the past. They embrace them. Great nations don't walk away. We come to terms with the mistakes we made. And in remembering those moments, we begin to heal and grow stronger. The truth is, it's simply not enough just to commemorate Juneteenth. After all, the emancipation of enslaved Black Americans didn't mark the end of America's work to deliver on the promise of equality. It only marked the beginning. To honor the true meaning of Juneteenth, we have to continue toward that promise because we've not gotten there yet. The Vice President and I and our entire administration and all of you in this room are committed to doing just that. That's why we've launched an aggressive effort to combat racial discrimination in housing. Finally address the cruel fact that a home owned to this day by a Black American family is usually appraised at a low rate for a similar home owned by a white family in a similar area. That's why we committed to increasing Black home ownership, one of the biggest drivers of generational wealth. That's why we're making it possible for more Black entrepreneurs to access capital, because their ideas is good, they lack the capital to get their fair share of federal contracts so they can begin to build wealth. That's why we're working to give each and every child 3 and 4 years of age, not daycare, but school in a school. That's why.
Right.
That's why we're unlocking the incredibly creative and innovation of the history of our historical Black colleges and universities, providing them with the resources to invest in research centers and laboratories to help HBCU graduates prepare and compete for good-paying jobs in the industries of the future. Folks, the promise of equality is not going to be fulfilled until we becomes real in our schools and on our main streets and in our neighborhoods. Our healthcare system, and ensuring that equity is at the heart of our fight against the pandemic. In the water that comes out of our faucets, in the air that we breathe in our communities, in our justice system, so that we can fulfill the promise of America for all people, all of our people. And it's not going to be fulfilled so long as the sacred right to vote remains under attack. We see this assault from restrictive laws, threats of intimidation, voter purges, and more. An assault that offends the very democracy, our very democracy. We can't rest till the promise of equality is fulfilled for every one of us in every corner of this nation. That, to me, is the meaning of Juneteenth. That's what it's about. So let's make this very Juneteenth, tomorrow, the first that our nation will celebrate all together as one nation. A Juneteenth of action on many fronts. One of those is vaccinations. Tomorrow, the Vice President will be in Atlanta on a bus tour helping to spread the word like all of you have been doing on life-saving vaccines.
Right.
And across the country this weekend, including here in Washington, people will be canvassing and hosting events in their communities, going door to door, encouraging vaccinations. We've built equity into the heart of the vaccination program from day one, but we still have more work to do to close the racial gap in vaccination rates.
I love the door-to-door. If you're an anti-vaxxer and someone shows up and says, I can inject you with something right now, most anti-vaxxers won't be convinced by that. But for people who just think it's inconvenient, I think it's fantastic.
A killer, motivated by hate, intending to start a race war in South Carolina. He joined his victims in a Bible study class. Then he took their lives in a house of worship. It's a reminder that our work to root out hate never ends, because hate only hides. It never fully goes away, it hides. And when you breathe oxygen under that rock, it comes out. And that's what we must understand, that Juneteenth represents not only the commemoration of the end of slavery in America more than 150 years ago, but the ongoing work to have to bring true equity and racial justice into American society, which we can do. In short, this day doesn't just celebrate the past. It calls for action today. I wish all Americans a happy Juneteenth. I'm shortly in a moment, going to sign into law, making it a federal holiday. And I have to say to you, I've only been president for several months, but I think this will go down for me as one of the greatest honors I will have had as president, not because I did it, you did it, Democrats and Republicans, but it's an enormous, enormous honor. Thank you for what you've done. And by the way, typical of most of us in Congress and Senate, I went down the other end of the hall first and thanked your staffs because I know who does the hard work. No, they're down there. They're at the other end, but I thank them as well.
Right.
May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Now, I'd like to invite up while I sign Senator Tina Smith, Senator Ed Markey, Senator Raphael Warnock, Senator John Cornyn, Whip John Clyburn, Representative Barbara Lee, Representative Danny Davis, Chair Joyce Beatty, and Sheila Jackson Lee, and Miss Opal.
I don't fully understand Cornyn's presence, but okay.
You should have my chair.
Thanks to ODW for the 20 subs gifted on Twitch. Appreciate that.
All right.
Oh, it's Cornyn's bill. Okay, well, he should be there then. Good for Cornyn. No Bobert here? Shocking, right?
I never understand how Barack did this.
You did it for you.
Gotta make sure.
So we've got the whole team, Sheila Jackson Lee and Ed Markey, Raphael Warnock, Cornyn is up there, James Clyburn, other folks. Shouldn't he be using like an oversized Sharpie? Weird, man.
Thank you so
Thank you. Significant room tone in this room they're using.
Thank you. I got 3 more. I got to make them more my name.
Thanks to Jamie Doncho for signing up with the code Juneteenth.
There it is. There's a man. Texas. Did anybody else?
Dan.
Oh, yeah, okay, man. I'm sorry, man.
Congressman Davis.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Folks, they did it completely meaningless economically in just about every sense, but something that they were able to do, and it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing.
Is election day next, Mr. President? Is election day next? Mr. President, is election day next? Is the plan to sign election day a national holiday?
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Sir, is election day? This is actually the type of stuff Biden is really good at. Like, Trump couldn't relate to people in this way where he'll hang out and talk to people. Biden is known for this. And that doesn't necessarily get you bills passed, but it is a breath of fresh air. That's for absolute certainty. So there it is. Juneteenth signed in as a federal holiday, not of sort of like the first tier, which are, bank holidays, but a holiday nonetheless, sort of equivalent to like a Flag Day, I think is what we would say. And that's not bad. Is this Usher right here? Did anybody see that? I only saw it for a second. Is this Usher, the musician? Is that actually who it is? I could have sworn that was Usher. Anybody know? See, isn't that Usher? I think it is. It is Usher. People know it's Usher. Okay. All right, it's Usher. Good. Yep, it's definitely Usher. Wow. He's hanging. It's not Usher. Very good. It's definitely not Usher. Okay, excellent. No, it is. It is. I can tell that it is. All right, very good. So, listen, appreciate everybody joining me. Whoa, that just ended very quickly. Serpent with Feet coming up next. Anybody who is an expert in the Stream Deck technical element and has some ideas for what and how I should set certain things up, please email me, info@davidpakman.com. If people have a, funny Trump soundboard elements that I could have on it, whatever, just send me stuff and I'll start setting it up. And we're going to see everybody so soon. Thank you for joining me. And, of course, coupon code Juneteenth, good until Saturday or forever, depending on who you want to believe.